Hi, Jamila. How are you? All right, let's get the ball rolling here.
Uh-oh.
Hi,
First of all, let me just adjust this here and let me go grab a hat because now I feel, and I was thinking about wearing a
Listen,
hat.
my head is a hot mess. I
Okay,
haven't gone to the barber. Your hair
okay,
looks amazing.
okay. No, but I just
So
feel like I
if
have
you
to,
want to go and get your hat,
I
go and
do.
get your hat. So just make this a whole diva thing here.
Yes.
Ah! Hi, guys. Wait, let me pin her information here so
Hey,
you guys can follow. I love it. Hold on. I'm pinning your information.
thank
Here you go.
you.
Um, so folks can find you.
Thank
I
you.
always run into problems with this pinning thing.
Yes. Do you want to get
Okay,
the
wait.
like little kimono back here? Mhm.
I love that hat.
Thank you. I love your hat.
Listen, I got this at Target, honey.
Yes, Tarjay is my favorite.
Target. You know,
Tarjay.
there's a navy blue one to it. I wanted to go back and get it.
I think
But
you
I'm
got
like,
it.
Simone, you're overdoing it now. Where are you going? You go nowhere. You go to the mall, you come back. You go to Whole Foods, you come. We ain't going nowhere.
But that is somewhere, and you need your hat.
That is true. That is true.
I think you have
And
to go back and get it.
yeah, I do. And I'm telling people, I'm husband hunting for 2021.
Ooh, come on,
So
husband
yeah,
hunting.
so he may show up in Whole Foods or he may show up in Target or Marshalls.
Let's
You know,
manifest.
let's manifest.
Let's manifest.
Oh,
Come on, Whole Foods, Tarjay,
almost
husband,
Target. Some
Marshalls. Yes, that way you
something.
know you like the same things.
Say exactly. Exactly. I love your lipstick, by the way. I love
Thank,
these poppy colors that you're wearing.
thank you, thank you. I'm loving this deep wine, burgundy or burgundy, as they say in New Orleans.
Burgundy. Yeah, this is actually I follow her. Where is she based? I can't. She's in Atlanta.
Oh,
PNK Digger. Yeah, it's a
oh
black
yes,
girl, of course.
yes,
Yeah, and she's bringing up
yes.
her own line. It's I'm
Mhm.
like I'm falling in love with it. But thanks
Mhm.
for being on.
Hey, thank you for having me.
You look amazing. You look
Thank
absolutely
you.
amazing. And
Thank
I'm so
you.
excited that I'm having this opportunity to speak with you because I'll be very honest. I didn't know that um, we can heal through seduction.
Mm.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So following you, seeing your posts, reading your comments, seeing the thread, the conversations between you and your followers. I had the opportunity to also sitting on one of your classes
Yes,
via Zoom,
yes,
yes.
yes.
And I took the moment to just take it all in because I was like, wow, you know, this is different.
Mm.
And this is something that I personally can learn from. So if I'm getting so much out of this, imagine then what my followers can get out of it. But
Mm.
not only that, sometimes in my readings, and I tell folks a lot of times, you know, the ideas for sacred conversations come from my reading sessions with my clients, you know, and usually um, their sexual energy and whether or not there's some, you know, for women, if there's someone, you know, in their lives and how they're managing that. And then if there's someone there, how there's this disconnect between them and they're not understanding their bodies. it's always a conversation regarding that. So for me, having you here and following you and reading the work that reading about the work that you're doing is helping me. So when that comes up, I says, you know what, you need to go talk to her.
Oh, bless you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
You need to go have a conversation with Pearl. And this is how we are healing the community, because you go to your doctor if something is wrong with your heart, they send you to a cardiologist, right?
Yes.
So it's the same concept. It is the same concept.
I
And
agree.
once we as healers understand that, then we our community is going to heal so much better and so much faster,
I,
right?
I have
So
to,
so
I have to
having you
agree
here
with
was
you.
important.
Thank
Yeah, yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah. It's the same concept. So I'm having you here so my followers and my audience can know that this is available to them, that you are here to answer some of those questions.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I don't know if Kenyatta is going to be on here, but I have this friend. She is sex coming and going, and she just shares her toys. We're in this group and she shares her toys, but she's like, well, this is what I'm doing today.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
we're
I'm
like,
here for
oh
it.
my God, Kenyatta, there's like, like, and she's like, I don't care. And I love the liberation as well. So healing through seduction.
Yes.
What is that?
Mm. So when I think about healing through seduction, I first want to say that I was my first client and that I tried the concept on myself first because I noticed that I was using people around me as surrogates to heal from all this past trauma and to validate my existence, my self-worth. And I was also noticing that it was for some reason very important to me in any relationship to be the best lover that they ever had and to have agency over my body in that way. And one day I just asked myself, but are you really feeling liberated as you're participating in these sexual acts? Are you really liberated when you're seeking validation from others? And isn't it time that you seduce yourself, you seduce your own reflection, not just to change the narrative of being a survivor, but also to change the narrative to honor your ancestors and to honor self? And so healing through seduction, in short, to me is honoring your sensuality and honoring your truth in a way that's really intimate with yourself. And so using things like self-discovery, discovering your erogenous zones, again, changing the narrative, being poetic with yourself, and having kindness and patience with yourself as you think about your entire story. Because what I find is that we all are usually seduced by someone else's trauma first. Yet when it comes to our own trauma and our own healing journey, our own mistakes, we're so hard on ourselves and we don't allow ourselves to enjoy our own touch. We're waiting on someone else to touch us. We're waiting on someone else to uplift us. We're waiting on someone to affirm us. And so that's what healing through seduction is to me. Just healing yourself through seducing yourself. And when I say seduce, I don't mean masturbation. I don't mean having an orgasm. I mean true intimacy with self first so that you can heal, again, the narrative. And then also, if you are with a partner, you understand your boundaries and you understand what you actually want. I hope I answered that question.
You sure did. You sure did. How would I know that this is the right spiritual wellness tool
Mhm.
to incorporate into my healing?
You know what? I would say if you notice a pattern, one, if you notice a pattern, like if, no, I'll take it back. If you're ready to be honest about your desires, And desires, again, I'm not just talking about sexual desires. I'm talking about a desire to be seen, a desire to be liberated, a desire to honor spirit, to honor ancestors, and to evolve. So that's one. And if you're tired of waiting on someone else to do the work for you. And then lastly, you won't really know though if this kind of work is for you until you try it. Just like everything else in your life that you like, you don't know until you try it. So you have to be willing not to like something when you're talking about going into a space for your healing, for your liberation. You have to, one, understand that the person leading it is a human being. You have to allow them to be a flawed human being, a beautiful imperfection. You have to allow yourself to do the same, and you have to allow yourself to honor your boundaries and say no and leave the space once it no longer feels safe for you. So I would say if you're ready to be honest with yourself and ready to experiment and hold yourself accountable for your own love and desires, then Healing Through Seduction is the space for you.
That's some serious shadow work. That's intense, Perle.
I
I'm
know.
sitting here talking to you, and I'm like, the inside of me is like, Simone, have you been there? Have you gone there? Is this something you've been before? Have you thought about it?
Have you thought about it? And I want to add one more thing that I always lead with. I try to anyway, is I try to remind people that I might trigger them because I'm going to be nice to them. And I'm going to ask them to touch their body and discover without the pressure of receiving or giving an orgasm. To just for play. And I'm going to encourage you. And that might be triggering.
Yeah.
That might be triggering to have someone be nice to you for no reason at all other than to hold space.
It is wild because when I prepare a bath for my clients, because I only do it if in the reading it comes up in need one. So I don't just have a whole bunch of them here waiting for you to come and ship out.
Yes.
And the last part of that is I said to anoint yourself with olive oil. Right? So I said, but when you do it, don't just put it on. Actually take some time with yourself.
Yeah.
Right? And actually feel the oil penetrating your system and going through your, and actually spend the same amount of time and energy you put in doing the bath. This part of anointing yourself with the olive oil is another experience. If I am in front of you, Perle, and I'm going through the emotions and just feeling or recognizing this trauma that I have been through, how do you guide me through that? How do you not say, how do I not just shut it down, like, no, I can't deal with this? How do you help me with that? And the other part of it is, how do you recover from that exchange of energy?
I really appreciate that question, because I feel very honored that I'm called to answer a question like this. I just want to say that, first of all. What I always like to offer is that moment of stillness and a moment to actually be at peace with whatever you're feeling. And when I'm in person, or even if I'm not in person, if it's virtually, I usually ask them to place their hand on their source of life. And for me, the source of life is right above the heart, and one hand cupped right in between your thighs. I find that those are the areas, especially for people who have a lot of feminine energy. I feel like that's where we're silenced the most. And that's where we hold a lot of our trauma and pain. And so if I'm in person, I ask permission if I can just hold them in those two areas. And I always see the moment where they just relax into themselves, because I'm offering this sacred exchange of energy and understanding, and allowing people to wail, to scream, to cry, to be still, to laugh, to moan. And so I always like to start with just offering a moment of stillness. So let's just honor what you're actually feeling. And if you feel safe, let's try some nourishment, some nurturing energy. And if it's virtual, I love to ask them to put their hand up so that we can exchange energy through our hands.
Energy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what I do to nourish myself is, because I have a one of my spiritual advisors is, she's an herbalist and a hoodoo priestess. So she's taught me how to make my own baths. And I always put on return to sender oils every day, just because
Yeah.
when you've been
Oh,
called to heal,
hello.
yeah, when you've been called to heal, you've also been called to trigger.
Yes. Yes.
So you never
Yes.
know what people are
Yeah.
going to feel about you just existing. So I do a lot of oils. I anoint myself with oils, and I usually do try to masturbate after sessions as well, or either do a dance movement, meditation.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You
And release the energy back to
mentioned
them.
I release the energy. Yeah.
Yes, like
Send it
back to
out
the,
wherever.
wherever it
Just
goes,
not
because it
here.
doesn't belong to either of
Wherever
us.
it goes.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Just not here. I'm moved by when you said that you would have them touch
Mm-hmm.
above their heart and then cup between their legs. I have a habit of putting both, when I'm sitting, I had to catch myself sometimes. When I'm sitting, I cup my hand between my legs, even in public. And one time I was with a friend of mine, and this guy, he was checking her out. And he complained to her that I was trying to come on to him because I had my hands between my legs. I'm like, this dude cannot be serious.
No
But
one's thinking about you, sir.
nobody's thinking, not a soul, not even her. So you was trying to. He was like, Simone, how are we going to get rid of him? I say, he's your problem, not mine. But I have this habit, and I'm thinking, did I get it from my mom? But I have this habit of putting my hands between my legs, and it's comforting. It feels like if I'm hugging myself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think you should keep doing it. Don't even try to stop yourself. Because I think that there's so much power in our hands. And a lot of people who see auras always see colors coming from my hands when I dance. I think that's where a lot of power resides. And I think you're just on to something that your ancestors did. I bet if you ask in a reading, it'll come to you. Now that we're talking about it, I bet you'll get
now
the
that
answer.
we're talking about, because you do things, and know you're, and I'm thinking, but some things is, Simone, you do that, right? And I'm like, yeah, put my hands.
Yeah.
And it's because it actually feels like I'm drawing myself in.
And
it's comforting.
Yeah. You're just recharging yourself.
Yes. Exactly. What do you find comes up when you are with a client? Which technique for them is most uncomfortable? Which one you think comes up a lot?
I mean, I don't even have to think about that. I don't care if I'm working with a performer, a lawyer, a stay-at-home mom, an author. No one is comfortable looking at themselves. As soon as I ask them to look at themselves in the mirror and say an affirmation, everyone is uncomfortable. And I think it's not only, especially if you're a person of color, it's a cultural thing. You don't want to, be perceived as like you're trying to be all that, and, you want to keep your head down. But even as a society, no one except for mediocre white men are taught to believe in themselves. Yeah, I said what I said.
Listen, that's what this platform is for.
You know, no one is
You say
told
what you
that they
gotta
can do
say.
that. You
Yeah.
no one is told that they should look at themselves and say something kind. Now, I mean, think about it. During this quarantine, especially as artists, there were so many artists I saw that were very upset and offended anytime someone spoke about their joy, anytime someone spoke about an opportunity, and they were like, the world is on fire, how dare you? And I had to
Yeah.
remind some of them who were my friends that actually the world has been on fire. What you mean is
For a
your world
long
is on
time.
fire. The world is
Yeah.
always on fire. This
Always
is a
on
new
fire.
situation for America as a whole, but there have been
Correct.
children in cages for 4 years, and everyone
Correct.
was moving on. So
Moving on. Correct.
moving on, and so that kind of behavior that's accepted, to only speak
Mhm.
about your pain in the news. Usually, people of color are only trending when we are in pain, not joy. And so
Mhm.
that's why it's something that's so important to me to try to get people to understand that their joy matters and that the joy is part of the seduction with self. And it's
Yeah.
so important, but it's so hard for people to say an affirmation and to look at themselves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What role, if any, can your client's intimate partner play in this healing through seduction? If at
I,
all. If
yes,
they have a role there at all.
I don't think they have a role at all. But if
Okay.
someone decided to incorporate their partner in this sort of liberation, this discovery, awakening, they have to be willing to lose their partner. Because sometimes people have fallen in love with a version of you that won't be in alignment with the new awakening, with the new goddess, with the new deity, with the new awareness of ancestors. So I always remind, especially my clients who identify as women, just be
Mhm.
prepared to lose your partner once you have this awareness. One of my burlesque artists, Kiki LaChanteuse, is on here. She just said yes. She
Mhm.
understands what I'm saying. And I was left at the altar because of it. So you have to
Wow.
be prepared to lose your partner if you bring them in. And
Mhm.
even if you don't bring them in, you have to be prepared that you'll lose your partner as you ascend.
Ascend. Yeah. And then not only that, if you don't have a partner, the manner in which you choose who is going to be your partner, I am sure that changes as well.
It does. It does because your eyes have changed.
Yeah.
Your eyes have changed. Your vibration has changed. So, you know, it's all about compatibility with everything. And so again, as your palate changes, you know, your
I like
partners
that.
will. Your partners will too. You know, you have different
Oh,
tastes.
yes. I was telling a client the other day, I said to her, I said, you have to open your options.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love
You
that.
may like one color in a partner or one look. You need to open up your
Mm-hmm.
options
Absolutely.
because you may miss that person who compliments you, not complete
Yes.
you,
Yes.
compliments you
Compliment. I love
because
that.
you're so focused on this one look or this one energy.
Yes. Yes. Or this one microwave experience, honey, when you
Yeah,
should be preparing a gumbo.
yeah. I'm just feeling these ancestors say, like, Lord, why did we put these two of them together? They're just a hot mess. They're like, Lord.
I mean, I get
Okay,
it. The
let's,
microwave is quick and easy, but let's get this gumbo though. The
yes,
gumbo is going to be more
yes,
fulfilling.
yes. Exactly, exactly. No, I want to let our audience know you guys can ask questions. Everybody's just sitting here joining and listening. I'm not seeing any questions. Someone here saying they love dancing. You know, um, that came up in just a by the chance. I was talking to a friend of mine who's also a reader, and she
Mm.
says, "Simone, you need to dance more. You're not dancing."
Yeah, yeah, just
Yeah,
really.
and just being so and that is something that I would do naturally.
Mm.
Even in growing up, I had the brush.
Yes, come on, little concert. You
You
know,
want nothing with me and Diana Ross.
you want
Nothing
a little 1-2, a little.
to want it, right? I
Oh,
that was always been me. But I also want to know, why do you think this method of healing chose you?
the older, as I'm getting older and more aware of my ancestors and more aware of what it truly means to be a goddess and to be called, and being a woman who truly, with all of my being, all of my soul, I truly believe that I am one of the lucky women who was sent here from Josephine Baker herself. I believe I'm reincarnate of Josephine, that I'm one of the one that she chose to honor her work. And I believe that I've been chosen by water goddesses. I remember when I was like 5, we were my family, we were in California, and I was on the beach walking, and I remember just being taken by the water and like not remembering anything, but waking up fully covered in sand and seaweed, and just like all these moments in my life where I'm understanding like, oh, you've just been called to do this work. And I think I come from a long line of women in particular who were called to be seers and healers. And so I don't think I had a choice in the matter. I think it's just divine. And I think I've just been called. I've been healing since I can remember. You know, being 41 now, I'm like, oh, you've going back. Oh, you've been doing healing work your entire life. And so I think the honest answer, which may be cliche, but I think I was just chosen. I think I come from a line of women who are here for a very divine purpose, and who I'm here with many layers of others who were here before me. And maybe that's why I can see certain things.
You're carrying on that legacy.
I believe so. I believe so. And I really believe Josephine picked me personally. I really truly believe
Yeah,
that.
of course, of
Yeah.
course, of course.
Yeah.
Because the work has to continue,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and then we do our part, we do what we're supposed to do, and
Yes.
then we pass that on to whoever is next.
Yes. I believe that in my soul.
Mhm. Tell us about your company and the services that you offer. Tell us about your brand.
So I'm really, really, really proud. I have many, many, many companies. I'm proud of that, but I'm really proud of my Healing Through Seduction, because it it is a plethora of many things. So I offer one-on-one consultations for people, which I really love working with people one-on-one. I'm open to all genders, but for the most part, usually women are drawn to me. I'm very excited that I've been getting more non-binary and trans clients. So I know that that means that my powers are growing. So
Yes,
I
yes.
appreciate that. And I love doing these self-discovery, guided touch, guided sensual touch, sometimes guided, not guided masturbation per se, but sometimes the spirit moves, and people have their experiences, but for the most part I offer what you would maybe call seductive dance therapy, guided
Mm-hmm.
touch. I offer burlesque inspired rituals, and I have a membership program as well, and we meet every Sunday, and I take my members through step-by-step guided sensual meditations. Like today we're meeting and I'm going to do a reverse striptease burlesque inspired ritual. We
That's the one I
incorporate.
did.
Yes, yes, yes. And
Yeah,
so
that's the
the
one I
members
did.
there, they requested it again, which is a good sign when people want to
Yeah.
do something again. So they want to do that today. And it's really, I love it. I love the membership program in particular because I don't really, sometimes with the workshops, you know, people have the wrong idea that you're supposed to focus on your healing once every 10 years. And I like the membership program because I have a more personal relationship with people. I try to remind
Mm-hmm.
people that your healing and self-love has to be similar to nourishing your body with water and food. You know for a fact
Mm-hmm.
that you're going to die if you don't eat and drink water. So you
Yeah.
have to understand that your spirit will also die without that daily nourishment. So I think that's
Yeah.
why I like the membership program the most.
Right. Right.
Yes.
Um, how does your, and I don't know, I don't think you really touched on this before, but maybe you did, but how does your spirituality help with your work? How
Mm-hmm.
did your own personal spiritual practices help with your work?
Well, especially in the world of burlesque, you know, I will proudly say that I'm one of the most successful women to ever do
Ashe.
burlesque, but also one of the most successful Black performers, period. And
Ashe.
what set me apart from everyone is that I always treated each performance and each production, because I also produce, as a healing journey and a healing circle and a moment to also honor resilience. And so for me, I always came in honoring vulnerability, honoring ancestors, and honoring the importance of being able to seduce yourself, especially if you're a burlesque performer, you know, and being authentic. So I believe that's what set me apart because everyone else was, you know, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And I'm
Hey.
on, you know, I'm on stage, you know, hitting my body, smacking my body, yelling, crying, and understanding the connection to seduction with self and seduction with ancestors and seduction with your entire journey and your resilience. And so I think that's part of my success, a huge part. And also
Yeah.
understanding, especially if you're an artist, but any kind of job, until you are really sure about yourself and your self-worth, anytime someone says no, you're going to think they're saying no to you and your value. Anytime someone gives you a crumb, you're going to take it instead of waiting for the steak.
For the state, yeah. Hello.
You know, the caviar, the champagne, whatever it is. And so I just always knew that I had to focus on my self-love journey to move an audience and also to honor, you know, $20,000 contracts in 3 months when, you know, a lot of people in my field are making $50 a show.
Wow. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Where would you like to see your work go next?
Mm-hmm. Yes. I would like to see Healing Through Seduction enter into the mainstream world. I'd love Netflix to honor what I do. I'd love to collaborate with people like Oprah. I'd love to travel to speak at more conventions and like people who are working, especially women of color. Like, no, you gotta learn how to seduce yourself. That way, when you go in there and ask for that raise, you mean it. You're not going in there
Yeah.
feeling timid. So
Yeah.
I'd like to, yeah, I'd like to become a full-on corporation,
Reclaiming it for you.
mainstream.
Reclaiming it for you.
Thank you. Yes, speak
Because
it.
yeah, because
Yes.
like I said, I didn't know this type of healing existed. First of all,
Mm-hmm.
I have only been public with my gift now.
Okay.
August last year was a year, right?
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
So because I'm now public, I am being exposed
Mm-hmm.
to all kinds of different types of spiritual wellness tools, as I like to call it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And
Yes.
I needed to, in order for me to service my clients to the best of my ability,
Mm-hmm.
yes, you come to me for a reading.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you want some hindsight into what is happening, but you also must leave me with direction and tools what you should use to move forward, even if you don't come back, because I'm not responsible for your healing.
No.
You're responsible for your own healing.
Mm.
So I mean, I know I've said this already, and not to sound like, a broken record, just saying it over and over again, but I was so in awe of your work.
Thank you.
And then to see, you know what the other part of it is, Pearl? The boldness.
Oh.
The boldness. And I mean, I'm okay with body, I'm not one to just stay in the bathroom and get dressed and come. I'm fine. I've skinny dipped
Come on
in
now.
in Barbados.
Come
Yeah, I've
on.
I've done that whole Halle Berry thing when you walk out the water and you take off the bikini and he's there on the thing watching me come out. But
She's lived.
the yeah, but the way you have made it so personal.
Mm.
Whereas, and I don't know if you understand fully what you do, and I'm sure you're told this over and over again, but you make it feel so personal and so intimate and so sure, and you start to question, wait a minute, I haven't touched this part of myself.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that I have, and I'm speaking about me. I'm not talking about anybody's else business. I'm talking about Simone. I haven't really, this is a part I have not explored, and I'm all for masturbation, that's part of my makeup. I have no problems with that.
Yeah.
But this is something different. This is past that. And I was talking to another client, and I wouldn't say too much because her stuff went global. And
Mm.
I said to her, some personal things were exposed, um, um, sexually, of course. And I said to her, I said, you know what? Don't let anybody shame you
Mm-hmm.
for your sexuality.
Yeah.
Excuse my language. Claim the motherfucker.
Absolutely. Claim your
Claim it.
sexuality.
Claim every single thing
Yeah.
that is who you are sexually. And that is something we as women, and let me narrow it down. We as Black women are so often shamed about.
Well, because people have become accustomed to thinking of our body simply as an experiment for their anger, their inspiration, and their liberation. And none of that has anything to do with us. I'm thinking about that baby Chloe. She's the singer from Chloe and Haley, I think, and how she was
Yeah.
being shamed for just walking on camera with her t-shirt and panties on. And I
Panties
was
on.
like, and I said, well, it's because it's for her. It's a moment that she's just
Yeah.
enjoying herself because she's wearing less
Yeah.
than that on tour, but no one
Yeah.
is upset about that because that's for their gaze. They don't want to
Yeah.
see her on her own gaze. And so you do have to honor your sexuality, and you definitely have to honor your sensuality. And for me, going back to teaching people how to discover their body and honor erogenous zones and seeing that as something healing, because for many of us, and for me, how I started was because I wanted to change the narrative. So many people had used my body for their sanctuary, and I wanted to take my body back. I wanted to experience a different level of body positivity. So for me, body
Yeah.
positivity has nothing to do with the shape. It started first loving being brown, growing up in the South, and then also loving the experience of me. And that's what Healing Through Seduction is, and that's what I enjoy offering. And so I feel great hearing, you know, that you had a good experience when you took my class,
Yeah.
because you never
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
what will come up.
Yes, you don't. And I encourage women who are in relationships,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
specifically married women who's
Yeah.
been married for years,
Mm-hmm.
to take your class.
Oh,
Because this idea of being open and ready just because that's what he or she wants is
yes,
problematic.
absolutely.
And to allow someone
Mm-hmm.
to be intimate with you when they're angry, when they're frustrated, when they're stressed, all
Mm-hmm.
of that is being pounded literally on top of you.
On
Whether,
top of
well,
you.
whether they're on top of you or behind you,
Yeah.
they're looking to relieve themselves of their own shit
Mm-hmm.
via you. That is problematic.
And I like to add, not only is it that they are relieving all of their pain on you, but they're, you know, taking the power back that they lost at work. They're taking their dignity back on you, and it's problematic because they're doing that, but also because we've been taught that that's being a good woman.
Good, good, oh, good woman. Yeah.
Yes.
Your husband calls, you go,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know. And some of us have wives, but it all started first with us satisfying these men,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
And then even when that disconnect happens, when the marriage is not going the way it should be, when you're not feeling respected, when you're not feeling honored, when you're not feeling loved, you still allow this energy to just come on you.
Yes, because you have a sense of purpose, and that person now is a surrogate. And that's why your self-love journey has to be the blueprint for every other connection and relationship in your life, I believe.
Yeah, for sure. What projects are you working on right now?
So I'm definitely taking new members for my Healing Through Seduction membership program. You can go to blackburlesquequeen.com for that, or you can just DM me and I'll send you information. And then I also made history last year by creating the first and only burlesque pageant for burlesque
Yes,
performers of color. And
I saw
so,
that video.
yeah, so
Yeah.
like and thanks for sharing. We're coming up on our
Mhm.
1 year anniversary. And so I'm presenting a virtual show called Black and Brown Excellence. And
Mhm.
I'm highlighting Black and Brown people from all over the world and every shade of Black and Brown. So that's from passing to the darkest berry, because we all need to be heard and seen. So
Yeah.
yes, if you want to be
I'm
liberated and inspired, definitely check out this
something.
virtual show. And so you can just DM me for that information as well.
Yeah. Well, I have your IG page pinned on here, so you
Thank
guys
you.
go over to her page and follow her, please.
Yes, please. Thank
I'm
you.
sitting here and we're talking, and I'm hearing she needs to speak in colleges. She needs to speak in high
Oh,
school. She needs to get but of course if you're in high school, you have to have, parents who are
yeah.
open-minded.
Yes. And you can always edit. You can always
Yes,
have,
of
because
course,
for my
of course.
burlesque acts, I always had 3 to 5 versions. A version that's G rated,
Yeah.
to triple X. Um, so yeah,
I
I
love
would, call it, healing through self-discovery, or, the importance of healing on the outside world. Like, there's always a way to flip it, but I'm happy for that confirmation, because I just sent an email so I work for Hunter College during the day. I do
it.
self love workshops for Hunter College, but they're disguised as dance workshops. And I
Ah,
just messaged my manager asking, like, hey, I wonder if I could present something, but I wasn't sure what. So I thank you. I think I'll try to see
yeah,
if
yeah,
we
that's
can.
confirmation, honey. They're like, yeah, she needs to
Amen.
be on. Yeah, 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 yeah. That's you know how we do.
Yes, thank you. And
You know how
that
we
was a
do.
wonderful free session that you just gave me. So I want to thank you. Okay.
Listen, once they come, well, we've been through this before
Yes.
private. Yeah. But once they come and this is okay, so this is what you're gonna tell her. This is what this is
Yes.
gonna happen.
Yes.
Because they stop when we have our own little, okay, so today you're not gonna talk to me because they need a minute. But with these kind of secret conversations, they're just sitting here like watching the whole thing and all you know how they do. They do you
Yes.
they do you the
Yes.
same way. How would you like to be remembered?
I would like to be remembered as a beautiful imperfection. I'd like my entire
Ooh.
story to be honored. I'd like to be remembered as a woman who was courageous enough to fail. I'd like to be remembered as a woman who was open to changing her narrative, to honoring her narrative, and a woman who wasn't afraid to let other people shine in front of her, next to her, behind her,
Mhm.
around her.
Mhm.
That's how I like to be remembered.
What would you say to your 16-year-old self now looking back?
He ain't worth it. He ain't worth it.
Oh, shit.
He ain't worth it. He ain't worth it. Sit in that jail. Sit in that jail. That was
Maybe I should have said 20-year-old self. Then he
I
would
would
shoot
tell
me.
that 16-year-old that she isn't ugly, that she doesn't look like a monkey, that she is royalty, that
Ooh.
she knows what she's doing, and that she's right. She's meant to be more than a crackhead, because that's all that surrounded me. I would tell her, you were right about yourself. Every time you snuck out of the house to talk to the moon, that was your ancestors calling. That was you honoring your path. So you were right. And I thank you. I thank you for being a beacon of hope for me. That's what I would tell her.
Ashay. Ashay. That monkey part was triggering for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm tall.
Mm.
I don't know, and I've always been tall, taller than everyone else. I'm 6'1".
Okay. Yes. Come
And
on.
I remember, and I tell this story all the time, and folks get upset when I do, but I said it's my fucking story.
Yes.
So I claim it. And I remember my aunt's husband saying to me, "You too tall, you would never get a man." I was 17, 18,
My
19.
gosh.
I'm now 46.
Oh gosh.
And at that time, that just is he right? Is that's what because
Mm-hmm.
obviously
Yeah.
I'm taller than the average man,
Yeah.
you know? And I remember saying to myself, damn, is that what's gonna happen? I am not gonna
Mm-hmm.
meet anybody.
Mm.
That messed me and it goes back to we have to be careful in the things that we say
Yeah. Yes.
to people,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Especially
Especially if
children.
you're young.
Yeah, young adults, children, we have to be so mindful.
And then I migrated here from Barbados. And
Mm.
at 18 years old, and I'm walking the streets, and people are looking at me like, "Oh my God, you're stunning, you're beautiful. How tall
Yeah,
are you? Do you
yeah,
model?"
yeah, yeah. You go somewhere else and people see you for the first time.
And
It's so
people
weird.
see the beauty. Yeah, yeah. We have a question here from Amy.
Okay, hi, Amy.
Hello. Hey, life after a full hysterectomy. Any thoughts?
I think for you, it's definitely time to start nurturing your body by cupping your hands and just holding yourself for sure. And also um, rubbing your belly. Hmm. And crying more. That's what's coming to me.
Ashe.
And you know, let me know if that does that resonate. But that's what's coming to
Resonate.
me.
Yeah. Candy Fab is telling us you guys look amazing in your hats.
Thank you, girl. This is my flowing hair.
Yeah. She's a stylist out of Barbados.
Oh, thank you.
I'm trying to, the things are not moving. I don't know what is going on. So I can catch the questions. I'm having a lot of a lot of women are concerned about the fact that there's no companion there, right?
Mm-hmm.
When is there, and you would know this.
I would, because I've been single the majority of my life. I
Yeah.
have a lot of sensual experience. I haven't had a lot of
Yeah.
sex because I've been single a lot.
Yeah. Well, I've had a lot of sex, but my the single part is my anthem. Like, well, that's another story. But anyhow, how do we get to a point?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that we should get so caught up in, because not all of us are the same, right?
Yeah.
Some women say to me, Simone, I cannot be alone. I must be in a relationship. I need somebody there. This
Yeah.
is who I am.
Yes, yes. And they should
Right?
honor that. Yes.
And I do a mind to say,
Mm-hmm.
oh, you don't love yourself because of that. That's not my role.
Yeah.
But you are in a situation where you're single.
Mm-hmm.
You're single.
Mm-hmm.
And you felt that you've done the shadow work, and you're waiting for this person to meet this person. What would you, Pearl, say to a woman who is just wrapped up or hurting from the loneliness they feel from lack of companionship?
You know, like you said, everyone is different and there will be a different scenario, but I'll just speak to what's coming to me energetically.
Yeah.
And what, you know, I've experienced and things I've had to say to friends of mine who are the same. And what I always encourage women who, or anyone who's like, no, but I need a partner and like the loneliness is killing me. One, make it a habit to seduce yourself every day. And I don't mean masturbation. I mean, you know, really go there. Really write yourself a poem and then send it off and have it sent to your house. You
Let me
know,
write that down.
which is, these are things I've done. You know, record yourself saying sweet nothings the way a lover would. Send yourself flowers, take yourself out and mimic what you actually want so that you're manifesting in that way. And then also do not wait. So if you want a partner, this is going to sound terrible, but no, but go out and get one. So I don't know if you need to purchase some apps. I don't know if you need to contact a matchmaker.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
I will tell you one thing, waiting. If you really want someone, do not wait on anyone to approach you. Get in the habit of approaching the people that you are attracted to.
Yeah.
Get in the habit of seeking that connection every day, actively, unapologetically, boldly, and with the vulnerability to be okay with meeting people that you're not compatible with, and understanding that a no thank you isn't the same as you're worthless. It's just a no thank you. Just like you say no thank you. Sometimes you say no thank you. Yeah, so actively be out here. Don't wait on anyone to approach you.
Yeah, I'm glad that you advise them to go out there and do it, because, you know, we're in the pandemic, right? I said, well, you know, at this stage, if you're not on an app, you know, you're not going anywhere, You're either going to be looking at the UPS man, the USPS man, FedEx, Amazon,
Yes.
DoorDash, Uber Eats,
Mm-hmm.
the Uber driver.
Yes.
And when I suggest the apps, they're like, I don't do. I'm like, so what you gonna do?
And so then you don't do relationships in this
You don't
digital
do
age.
relationships. Yeah.
In this digital age. And if you don't want to do the apps, they still have dating bureaus, they still have matchmakers, they still have people who take payments.
Yeah.
So you can also purchase an experience until you get the full-time thing. So those are the options. So
what is your experience with older women? Women like in their mid to late 50s, 60s, 70s. What is their energy like when they, I'm assuming that you have that age group coming to you as well.
I do. Yeah.
What is, I'm really fascinated by that. I have a friend of mine, her mom is in her mid 60s and she's so liberated with her sensuality.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
She said to me, Simone, I love your shows, but can you have some more men on?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes. Like, you know, you have some of the ones you've had so far are pretty hot, but and I like all the topics the women talk about, but can we have some more men on?
You know, a little variety.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what is it like working
they're very
with?
spicy. They're spicy like this woman. They're very spicy and very open to the journey. And so it's very inspiring to work with them. And also it's inspiring to work with the ones who are just now doing things like masturbating. Or saying that they love themselves. I have some people who have never uttered those words to themselves. And it's very liberating to see that vulnerability at that age. And it just, you know, it's confirmation that your story is not over until it's over. And you're ever changing.
Until you're dead. But even when you die,
but
you
even
know,
when
your
you're dead,
story's still being told.
Yeah.
Your story's still being told.
Yes.
Amy said that you took her breath away. Thank you for acknowledging my question. Of course, Amy, that's what we're here for.
Oh.
That's what we're here for. I had another question for you, and it just, right. I want to ask this. Do you have a lot of women who are engaged, getting ready to marry? Would they come to you, and what would that look like?
So
I'm trying to give every possible scenario.
I haven't had that yet. I've only had single, recently divorced, recently broken up, or married. I haven't had anyone, you know, in that like going to the altar phase. And I wonder if that's because there's such a state of bliss and feeling complete by someone else that you know, you're not thinking about the fact that you should be going in there feeling complete on your own. You should complement one another. So I have not had that experience yet.
How about a husband?
I've only had a few men. Only a few men have come to me. And usually those men have been fluid or gay.
I think though that, and I'll say this boldly, that men should come to you to understand their significant other and what that, how to approach them. You know, to fully understand, especially if they have gone through meeting with you and all these layers they've shed all these layers and it's a new energy and they're like, okay, so she's made this change. I'm not ready, you know. I'm okay, I got to do some shit with myself.
Yeah, I would love that. So we'll see. If it ever happens, I'll be sure to check.
Yeah. I kind of think that is something that they should explore. Are you seeing the questions? Because they're not.
I'm
Oh,
gonna
so
have
we
to.
gotta wrap up.
I'm gonna have
Yeah,
to
yeah,
go
yeah.
since I'm gonna get ready for my members.
Well, actually, yeah, and it's 6 o'clock. We did a full hour. Thank you so much, Pearl.
Thank you.
One last thing.
Mhm.
Let me know when you're ready to release the book.
Oh my God. Yes, I keep getting that too. So I'm like, okay, you got to figure out this book situation. I
That's
love
a,
that. Thank you. I'm
yeah,
like,
that's another confirmation.
okay, okay. Yes. And you know
Okay.
what?
No, no pressure.
I
Uh-huh.
just want to thank you. I want to thank your listeners. I saw some of my daughters and some of the people from my page came on. I just want to thank everyone for being open to me. And I definitely, if you ever have anything coming up or you want to offer your services, please send me like a picture and something to
Yeah.
copy and paste, and I'll send it out to my newsletter and
Thank you. I appreciate it.
yeah, and my members as well, because I always like introducing them to the new people as well.
Wonderful. And I want to introduce you to another app that I think will work well for your brand. So I'll send that to you while I'm cooking or something. All right?
Okay.
Perfect.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Pearl.
Thanks,
I love
everybody.
you. And
Bye.
take care. Thanks a lot. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.